Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Anyway, it's Tuesday Reviews Day, so we got another review for you this week. It is for one of my new favorite authors, honestly, an independently published, self-published, whatever you want to call it, author named Wick, Welker, and he has just shot up to, in my eyes at least, to be a star. I absolutely have loved every book that I've read. So spoiler alert, I loved this one. This is my review of Saint Elspeth, which I did receive as a review copy from the author, though I did then buy a copy myself to be able to listen to on Audible, and so we'll get to that. But anyway, I'm a huge fan, so let's jump into, first of all, the cover. First things first, the cover I did like. It's a good cover that's very mysterious. What's that? What's it mean? Kind of some Arrival kind of, I don't know. It felt like Arrival a little bit, right? Anyway, I haven't even actually seen the movie, but I've seen the posters for it. But it's mysterious, and again, the lighting, I think, very well reflects, after having read the book, reflects what's in the book. So I'll go further than that. Anyway, summary. Here's the summary. This is the Goodreads summary. Why did they come? When they appeared across the sky, speculation wheeled around the world. The aliens were from heaven, the invaders were from hell, or they were proof that neither existed. But when they landed, curiosity gave way to suspicion, and the nations reacted with nuclear force, setting off a chain reaction that left the world in ruins. 20 years later, instead of nearing her retirement, Dr. Elspeth Darrow struggles to forget the loss of her child and husband by plunging herself into the work of operating the last remaining hospital in San Francisco. With medical supplies running out and working herself to exhaustion, Elspeth must embark on a risky salvage mission into the heart of the Neo-California's danger zone. Here she discovers the disturbing truth: the aliens have returned. I thought that was very good. Very well encapsulates it. Essentially, we're looking at a post-apocalypse kind of landscape. They're all the rage, I guess, right now. If you look at The Last of Us, I just read Swan Song, so they're all the rage for me, but not, Swan Song's an old book. It's this kind of like, what happens, what do you do, how do you deal with after the fact when this big event happens and the world crumbles, and it's survival, it's humanity against humanity, but also aliens here. So I think that's really cool. Quotes. I usually do quotes at this point, but I could not get any. I did listen to this on Audible, and I raced through it so fast that I didn't. Usually I'll mark something, or I'll take a screenshot of like the chapter that I'm on, and I didn't even do that. I was just so engrossed with this book from page one. So I think that's a good sign, frankly. To be honest here, I think that tells everything right there. Likes versus dislikes. Likes. First of all, your main character that you're following, her name's Dr. Elspeth Darrow. She's excellent. It's a doctor. It's essentially, I saw this somewhere on a review that said it's ER meets The Last of Us, and I thought that was pretty accurate. I don't really watch a lot of medical dramas, but I know it did seem like that, but minus any romantic relationships, probably, or at least as much as those involved. Again, the doctor being the main character means we did a lot with doctor stuff, doctor jargon, and it felt very realistic. I wonder why. It may be because Wick Welker himself is a doctor, so that helped. And even the medical doctor, as I understand it, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I thought that was, it was very well told. It seemed very accurate. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I mean, I guess technically I am as a lawyer, a Juris Doctor, but we don't make people call us that. We should use Esquire. I don't know why we don't, but I can. I'm allowed to legally use Esquire at the end of my name. And Bill S. Preston would be proud if I did. It did have that, though, like that great just like survival feel. And I'll be honest, I love a good book like that. I love zombies or monsters, like I mentioned in The Last of Us, but zombies kind of do the same thing, pitting the world against each other, and or whether it's like a flu or a virus, kind of like The Stand for Stephen King, whether it's, whatever it may be, it makes, for me, I love it. It's a good, compelling narrative. There's always going to be something, right? Something to spark some more action, because everything's survival. Who knows? I mean, just not having enough food can be an issue. The basic needs really are just not even getting met at that point. So anyway, I think, and there's something I think just as humanity with our busy lives, maybe this is just me, it seems to be popular for a reason though, but that with our busy lives, we kind of like almost long for a time if we could have it to just kind of only have to focus on the survival things. I don't know, I could be wrong. I've had some really good discussions with authors that I just feel like have had this kind of discussion of like, are we not like longing for that? Do we need to kind of take some self-assessment here, I guess. One of the things I loved is this doctor is she means it. She is teaching her students, she's teaching her apprentice that you help, okay? And if you have the skills to help, you do that. I loved that theme in this. I think the world needs that theme that was in this book. It was a great theme, and I won't get into spoilers, but it goes further with that than you could possibly imagine. It goes further than you think at first glance. And I'll jump into spoilers. One of my favorite, just a very quick spoiler here. One of my favorite themes is that there literally is that you help people no matter what. And then this is an alien species has contacted Earth, and we kind of realize, oh, maybe it's to help. Maybe instead of like just to take over, which they didn't do. They didn't attack anyone. They didn't fight against anyone or harm anyone. It was humans that did it to each other. And maybe, just maybe, they actually, and not only maybe they were a little selfish, but maybe they're still helping a humanity survive something bigger, something worse than them just appearing and not doing anything, which really wasn't anything bad to humanity, although humanity took it that way. I thought that was such a cool concept, and then also just taking and expanding this. As a doctor, you help even your enemies. And there's moments where, these characters have to show their mettle on whether they help their enemies or not. And it's not even just the main character. And then you get this idea even just broadened to where it's like, what if there's an alien species that just wanted to help? Is that not like that? I don't feel like that's really been explored. It's always attacking, trying to take over is the typical one. There's even, maybe like in Project Hail Mary, First Contact, kind of like, hey, we're both trying to solve a similar problem. Sorry if I spoiled that. But this is a more of a like, what if the alien species is altruistic, at least to some degree? Maybe they're a little selfish because they survive in the whole thing too. I just thought that concept was cool, and I hadn't seen that before. And I thought it was just really well realized here. Dislikes. I have to, I have to admit some dislikes. Some just again, I loved this so much. So these are mostly more nitpicks than anything. But if I had to do a dislike, that's kind of how I do these from now on, or I seem to do these. If I had to give a dislike, one, it would be just that the rest of the world I would have liked to have seen explored some. I assume it's kind of similar, but really it's very focused on California, and mostly California. It does, arguably you could say there's some other spots mentioned, but it's very little, and we don't really get like characters like in those places or figure out or see what's going on. I wouldn't want this bogged down either, so again, it's like I said, it's a nitpick if anything. The other thing is there's some of the decisions made in this were frustrating. They weren't not true to character, they were true to character, but they were frustrating. And so one of those things that I get frustrated with is like, for instance, if you're threatening like your only medical doctor that has that kind of medical expertise, then you're kind of dumb. Cut off your nose to spite your face. That's what we're doing here. Anyway, so I started editing and I lost a whole part of the video. So apparently here we are. Sorry about this change here. But anyway, I wanted to finish up this review and get it out today. So that was part of my issue, was just that I wanted these characters. I wanted at least that to be acknowledged, that it's like she should at least, I wanted Elspeth to at least be like,
really? That's really a dumb idea of you. But at the same time, it was very much explained that these characters have kind of evolved, you could say, maybe devolved in a way, so that really wasn't possible in their line of thinking. But anyway, that's that. If you liked this, then you might like some of the things that came to mind. Maybe like I Am Legend, that's kind of post-apocalyptic. The Passage by Justin Cronin, I thought that was a pretty good one. Just kind of this like, kind of following a character against a post-apocalyptic background. Also Swan Song, I mentioned that already. Definitely a little more epic, and you follow a whole ton of cast of characters instead of really focusing on this one. As far as a rating goes, this is a solid 8 out of 10, and I'm like closer to a 9 than a 7 for sure. So if I had to give it something, 8 out of 10 I think is very solid. It's such a good, I read my eyes out with this, or my ears out, because I did do the audio. And speaking of the audio, Maria McCann was the audiobook narrator. She was just about perfect. I mean, just had this kind of like good raspy kind of voice sometimes, and just really portrayed the emotion, and one of just that theme that I talked about, that you help, and you help even if it's your worst enemy, because they need your help and you can give it. I just thought that was such a good message. I love this book. Absolutely highly recommended. Do yourself a favor, read some more Wick Welker. Becoming one of my favorites here. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for dealing with this new camera angle, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.